And good evening, everyone. Welcome to Exceletics. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I assume you have done some courses in Exceletics already. So we are into data analytics, providing different software trainings, including Excel, VBA, Power BI, SQL, and other things. Basically, all the courses are centered against data analytics. Okay. So we are going to provide trainings which will help you become a better analyst. So we are based at Amirpet. Okay. And the Exceletics, it is managed by a group of certified professionals who are working on data analytics. Okay. So you're going to have a good experience learning the different aspects. On data analytics, we will become a better data analyst if you're already working on data analysis, or if you want to start your career in data analysis, these courses will be very useful. So this is a brief introduction about Exceletics. And the trainings, different trainings we provide, they include virtual trainings or classroom trainings. And also, because of this COVID, mostly we are conducting online trainings. Okay, these trainings will be always practical oriented. We'll be discussing with examples. Everything we are going to show with examples and explain the concept so that you can easily apply it on your day-to-day work. So these trainings, normally we provide trainings for the corporates directly. We also provide trainings for the colleges to prepare them while just coming out of the college itself. We'll try to prepare them suitable for jobs, because our academic subjects, they are somewhat, there's a lot of gap between what we study in the colleges and what is required in the actual jobs. So we'll always try to bridge that gap by providing trainings at different levels in our institute as well as in the colleges. And also we provide trainings in the corporate offices itself, where supposing a single organization have many people who want to get prepared for their new challenges coming up in the organization. We provide the training in the offices itself. Okay. So this is about Exceletics, a brief introduction. And next, let us actually discuss what is data analytics. I assume all of you are learning SQL for improvement in your data analysis, correct? So because our course is basically concentrating on studying the data, how to understand the data, how to take a backup or restore the databases. And our main concentration shall be on preparing a report writer, like how to generate different reports from a database. So what are the SQL skills required for becoming a better reporter, better data analyst? That would be the concentration of this SQL course. And this course will be followed by a Power BI training, which is basically a data visualization tool, which is going to present the data, whatever we extract the data from SQL, how to present it in a graphical visuals. That would be the basic aim of this course. Okay. First, it will be purely SQL. And once you're comfortable with SQL, understanding the database, what are the different tables and where the data is stored in the database, and then extracting that data and using it in the data analysis. That's the main target of this course. Okay. So are you all in page with that, or do you have any different ideas? Anybody, can you tell me what your expectations of this course?
Yeah, so clear till this point, Praveen here.
Yeah.
The thing what you have explained is like the from where we should pick the data and what are the tools we use to visualize, like taking help of Power BI. Everything is clear, and we are expecting the same. Like coming to industry perspective, picking up the database from appropriate data and making it in a proper view for analysis and all, as we are using Power BI.
Yes.
So expecting the same thing, which would help us on a real-time basis by
Yeah.
considering real-time projects
Yeah.
going forward to look the same thing in the learning course.
Yes. So let us understand what is data analysis briefly. It will be just for 5-10 minutes. I'll give a brief introduction. Then we'll go into the SQL. Okay. So before learning SQL, we should know why SQL is required. Okay. So to introduce myself, my name is Vinod. I'm into this reporting and data analysis since more than 15 years. I'm a certified Excel expert, and also I have done a certification in data analysis. This is exclusive on Power BI. The certificate name is called Microsoft Data Analyst Associate. Okay, it's also named as DA100 as the exam code. So these certifications I have done. In addition to that, I'm also certified in Crystal Reports, and I worked on different database objects, extracting data and also managing databases. And also I worked in Excel, Power BI, VBA, and also Crystal Reports. So with my wide experience of working on on different reporting tools and also conducting trainings at different levels, I think I'll be able to help you out in understanding better what is data analysis and how to work on analyzing the data. Okay. So now what is data analysis basically? So in any organization, basically we are going to store data in different data media. Correct? Okay, let us first understand now what is data analysis. Basically, in any organization, a lot of data is stored in the systems. It could be in an Excel file. It could be in some SAP or any softwares like the other end. It could be big softwares like SAP, ERPs could be there. Or we might have some inbuilt software using a SQL server, MySQL or Oracle or some database. Or it could be MSI. Whatever may be the place, we are going to store everything now is computerized, whether it's a small mall or a big organization, whether it's a HR department, accounting, or a manufacturing, everything we are storing all information in computers. So what is the purpose of that? It's not just for generating invoices or giving a production schedules. More than that, we want to use the data, the past data, to make better decisions in the future. We can analyze our data, understand what are the strengths and weaknesses where we are lagging behind, and use it for the future decision making to set a target. Okay. Previously, before this computerization, a management used to just have some, with their just experience, they are used to set a target for the coming year. Production, everything is done just by experience, by like more like a guesswork. But with this data, whatever decision is made, it could be more conscious decisions can be taken based on the data. So as a data analyst, our job is to analyze the data available, extract some meaningful information from that. Okay. A data, if you see, it may be going into some GBs of data or MBs of data. And Excel, supposing you have some 20,000 rows of data, just showing that data management can't take much decision. Instead of that, you are able to summarize it in the form of pivot tables or charts, present it in a graphically such a way that the moment somebody sees, they should be able to get some inferences out of it. See, okay, this product I am getting more profit, or this region customers are paying me in time. Like that, some meaningful output should be coming out of the data. So that's what we call it as a data analysis. Analyze the data. That data also might be in different sources, like some may be in SQL Server, some in Excel, some in other different access like that. Because each department in an organization may be working on their own data in a separate media. So data analysis also includes combining data from multiple places, putting it together, and then analyzing it, presenting it in such a way that a management can take some action which will help improve the business for the future period. Okay, that is the purpose of data analysis. And any data analytics, whatever tool we use, whether it's an Excel or a SQL, Power BI or any tool, basically it involves, first thing, we have a data. okay, in the form of tables or Excel sheets or Excel flat files, some media, or else we have a data available. Okay, you have given here an example of data could be there in a databases, Excel sheets, flat files, or it could be on a cloud server also. Cloud server means something at a remote place, the data is available, which is accessible from any place. So like how we have a mails, Gmail, we can see our mails from our phone or any computer. Just use your login and see it. That is because the total information is available on a remote cloud server. We are able to connect to that from anywhere. Same way, data also can be placed on a cloud server so that it is accessible from different information. So data is going to be very huge. From that, if we extract meaningful output, that we call it as information. Exactly taking out what is meaningful and what is required, like a summarizing. Okay, you just take out, say, supposing different products, what is the quantity sold, where it is sold, at what price it is sold, what is the profit we are getting out of that, like that, some important information. We may not be interested in very specific customer who has purchased. What we are important is which product is giving us more profit, which we can market it in future also. That is what we call it as the information. Extracting meaningful output of a data, that is the information. This information further should not go into multiple pages. We should be able to summarize it like in a pivot table. We see data grouped by a region-wise sales and profits or a city-wise sales and profits. Like that, we should summarize it. It will be easier to analyze and understand out of it. Finally, the summarized data, we should be able to present it in a graphical way, because anyone, when he sees a graph, it is much easier to understand rather than a chart. If I put the same thing in a table showing sales in each city is this number, that number, understanding numbers would take some more time when compared to a charts. The moment I see a chart, I can make out which place has the highest sales, which has the lesser sales, or which sector is giving me maximum profits. Like this, we can easily understand. Anybody, the moment we see, we can understand a chart much faster than a data. That is the reason we are going to convert that summarized data into a presentations, visual presentations. Okay. Next, once presentations are done, they are used in the managerial meetings to analyze the data. What has contributed to this high profits? Okay, this particular region I am getting best sales. So what has contributed to that? Is it the pricing? Is it our discounting policy? Or is it the marketing strength, or what is it? That is called analysis. Okay. And then finally, whatever we have done, we need to protect our documents. We need to protect the data so that it is not edited or corrupted by anyone. So these are the basic steps involved in any of the data analysis. Okay. And now, to getting data, converting it to a useful information, that requires some skills. Okay. Most of the cases, data is stored in the form of a databases, because you can't put everything in a single Excel sheet. I think most of us are comfortable and acquainted with Excel. In Excel, we see data stored in the form of rows and columns. Okay. But everything cannot be put in a single sheet. We are going to have the data in multiple sheets. Maybe one sheet will have a data related to the product information. Let me show an example. Okay, when we have a data in an Excel, we'll start with Excel itself, then we'll go to the SQL. So in Excel, data may be there, order information in one page, customer master could be there, wherein we have the customer details. By storing like this in multiple tables, we can easily maintain the data accurately. So same customer ID name you store for every row. And if you start typing the customer name, description, everything, when same customer comes again you are going to enter the same information. So we'll not be able to track whether he's a new customer or a repeated customer. Because if it's a repeated customer, we would like to give him preferences and see that he gives us more of orders. So that analysis is easily possible only when you have clear information of the same customer or the product wise. You have 100 products. You don't need to store the product name, description, size, everything for every transaction, every sale we do. We maintain a master data consisting of the unique list of products, and we are going to refer that. In the Excel terms, we can say we can have a lookup to that table and get the details about a product. Okay, that's how always data is stored in the form of multiple tables. It's not appropriate to put everything in a single table. It will first of all slow down our retrieval. It will add redundancy. Redundancy means same product name I am storing 10 places. Slight spelling mistakes could be there, differences could be there, which will make each as a different product. We will not be able to understand that all these sales are of the same product, or that all these transactions of the same customer. That we can't make out when you are storing everything at single place. It's not easy to read. So we are going to store data in multiple tables for our understanding. Okay. That's where the SQL comes into play. So when you are analyzing the data, first you will be starting as a data analyst, where you have a data and you are learned some different skills like Excel, wherein you can analyze the data and present it. But supposing you want to grow from that, just not a data analysis, I want to be able to understand the database, then you can do a better reporting. Presently, it's possible that you have some IT team who are extracting data from the servers, giving it to you in an Excel sheet. Okay, that you are using it for your analysis. But supposing you learn the skills of SQL, then you can become a database engineer, wherein you know where the data is, how it is stored in the different places, different tables, how to combine that together and create a report on the combined data. That's where an SQL comes into play. Okay. So as a data analyst job anyway is there for analyzing the data already understood by us. But if you want to be more, if you want to improve your skills, you want to understand actually where is the data and how to extract the data, we need to learn to understand studying the database. And all these databases, they have basically one common thing that is called SQL. Okay, it's the full form is structured query language. This language is common to any of the databases, whether it is a SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server, or it is a Oracle, MySQL, Teradata, any of them, they follow some standard rules. Then only they are called as the SQL databases. SQL full form is structured query language. Okay, it's also called as a SQL. This language is conceived by E.F. Codd, a scientist, a data scientist, who set some standard rules. He said that any database that follows these rules will be called as a SQL database or a RDBMS. Another more broader word would be RDBMS. That means Relational Database Management System. So this management is required where you have a large data with multiple tables. If it's only a 2-3 sheets in an Excel sheet, we'll just call it as a database. Okay, even Excel sheet, Excel file also, we can call it a database. But when you have a good list of multiple tables, they are properly planned and stored, and if they conform to the standards, then we call it as a structured query language. Can you see the screen window showing this? Why should I learn SQL?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in the SQL, we are going to understand how the data is stored and how to study the database, how to understand where my data is, how to extract the data that I require for my reports. Okay, that's the main purpose of understanding the database as a report analyst or a data analyst. We may not be designing new databases. We may not become an application expert. But when there is a database consisting of maybe 100 or 200 tables, data is always stored in multiple tables. That is to avoid duplication of data. We have to split the data into multiple tables. Okay. And we need to understand how to combine the data from multiple tables. Like supposing I have a transaction table and a product table. To get the details about any product, I need to look up. So I need to look up and get the product details for each of the transactions that I do, each of the sales or purchase I do. So that is requires some SQL skills. So we are going to learn all those things in this. And let us first understand what is SQL and how can we compare it with Excel. Okay. So in Excel, we already have a data almost at one place only. So we are going to use sum, count, average, or different criteria to extract the meaningful data out of that. So supposing product is a product wise, we are going to get the total sum of the sales, or count how many transactions have been completed, like that. Correct? So same thing if you have a SQL and the presently some IT team is giving you the data. So you need to first understand that, and it may not always meet your reporting requirements. As a data analyst, a business analyst or a manager is going to ask you for a report. So what is required in the report based on that? Again, you will have to coordinate with the IT team to get the data from the database. Instead of that, supposing you yourself has the capability to understand the data, then you will be able to easily modify the queries and get what is best suitable for developing the report. An aggregation like sum, count, all these things can be done at the server side itself. So in the server itself, it will do the processing, just send you the data what is required for the reports. That's how learning SQL will help you easily do a better reporting, get the data easily in time for the management. Okay. So once you know about the SQL, further you will be able to use the different tools like Power BI, Tableau, or any SQL reporting services. Anywhere you can use your SQL skills to get the data presented in the required format. Okay, so as I said, a database means anything that stores data. It could be an Excel file or MS Access or a SQL Server, Oracle, Teradata, any of them. But when it follows the standard rules, we call it as a SQL database or a RDBMS. RDBMS is the database which follows the standard rules conceived by EF code. That is basically saying that same data should not be stored at multiple places. There should be some common fields between the tables which you can use it for lookup. They are called the primary keys and foreign keys. Okay, a primary key is something like a unique ID. Like supposing you have employees, each employee will have an employee ID. Okay, that ID should be always unique. No two employees will have same ID. So using this ID, I can connect to other departments. Like supposing I have a salary table is there. Monthly, I'm going to generate the salary slip for different employees. So I don't need to add the employee name, his job, everything in every month data. Instead, I'll keep one EMP table having the employee ID, and the regular monthly slip, I'll show only the ID. So based on the ID, I can always look up to this employee table and get the information about that employee. That way, we can, in a SQL server, data is always stored in relational tables, which can be connected using the primary key and foreign key relationships. Okay, so our job would be to understand what is the database, how the data is stored, what are the relationships between the tables, which will help us combine data from multiple tables and present it. Okay. So there are the different rules set up. They're like a standards. Any database that follows this EF CODS databases standards, we call it as a relational database management system. Okay. And what is SQL then? This is the database management system. Then what is SQL? SQL is the language used to interact with the database. Excel means directly we are opening the file, seeing the data, we are applying filters, we are adding columns or adding formulas, anything. But in case of database, it's going to be very huge and we are not going to directly open the database file. Instead, we use SQL as the communication language to connect to the database and get the data, read the data, and put it in some Excel file or in a SQL window. Okay, so server and client, two parts will be there in any SQL database. A server is where the data is actually physically stored in the files. You're not going to directly click on a file and see the data. Instead, we'll have a client application that is going to connect to the database and read the data. So to connecting and asking for a data, we use a language that is the SQL, structured query language. Similar to VBA, VBA is the language used in Excel to do some processing in the Excel, to merge data, extract data, to add formulas. We use macros, and in the macros, we write a language called VBA. Similarly, SQL is the programming language used to connect to the database server and read the data, get the data as per our requirements. Okay. So our training would be basically concentrating on Microsoft SQL Server. 2019 is the latest version. We are going to show you how to download it. It's a freely downloadable, available in Microsoft site itself. It is unlimited time it is available. There is no limited time that you have to learn within 1 month. The database, once you install and download and install in your computer, it's a lifetime free version. Because it is for training and development purpose, it can be used for lifetime freely. Only when you are using it for a production, installing it in a company and using it, then only licensing is charged. So that's a good thing about the Microsoft products. For learning and implementation and testing out is a suitability. They're all absolutely free. So we are going to see how to install SQL Server in our systems. And then we're also going to install SQL Server Management Studio, which is the client application, how to connect and write the SQL query. We require a SQL Management Studio. So these two things we are going to install. One is the SQL Server and other one is the SQL Server Management Studio. This server, when it comes to our practical implementation in any organization, it will be a separate computer. Okay. So Excel, we are just opening a file and working on that. But in case of SQL Server, it has two components. One is the server, the other one is called the client. So server can be there in a separate computer in our network. Very often servers will be a separate systems. Okay. And multiple people can connect to that server through the client application. This is the client application, which is installed in our local computers. Using this computer client applications, we are going to connect to the server. So that way, multiple people can connect to the server and work at a time. Okay, same table, multiple people can be working. They can add data, remove data, or read the data at the same time. It's a multi-user environment, we call it, wherein a server can be connected by multiple people to their own client systems. Sorry. So as a report writer, we'll be connecting from our reporting applications like a Power BI, Excel, or through an SQL query, like SQL Server Management Studio tool also will connect. Even our application developers, they are going to connect through a .NET application or a AngularJS application and save data into that same database. That's how we can easily get the data as and when required, the latest data from a SQL Server. Okay. Is it clear? There is a server application which stores the data within that. And we have a client application that is used to connect to the server and get the data as per our requirements. Next, TSQL. This is the language actually. As we have discussed till now, SQL is the programming language used to connect to the database and read the data. TSQL is called Transact SQL. This is the language customized for the SQL Server. While each database has its own SQL. Yeah, I'll be sharing the links. Okay, first thing, we have a SQL which is common for all the databases. This TSQL is a SQL customized for the Microsoft SQL Server. So this has some flavors added to the standard SQL to write the queries in a SQL database, in a Microsoft SQL database. Okay. So why should we go for a SQL database now and not an Excel? What is the difference between them? We'll have a brief look. Okay. One thing is we can directly get the data, live data from the file rather than depending upon the Excel or intermittent data. In a SQL database, redundancy is controlled. That means same customer name will not be stored at multiple places. It is ensured that it will be stored only once and referred wherever you want. There will be concurrency control and transaction management. That means if supposing you are required to store the stock statement for a sale done, and also we need to store the sale financial information in the accounts table. So when you are storing, when you are saving a transaction, either it would save at both the places or it would just will not save at both the places. If we work the same thing in an Excel, first transaction might save. One of the sheets we might be saving that so much quantity is sold to particular customer. But the corresponding financial part, accounting statement may not have been saved, okay, because of some errors. There will be inconsistency, but that is not an issue in SQL. It is ensure that either save everything or revert back everything. And access control. Access control means when a database stored, an application developer is authorized to add data into that one. As a report writer is authorized only to read the data. He will not be allowed to edit anything in the tables. That's so access permissions can be controlled. Again, who can view the data? To what extent he can view? All the security levels are easily implemented in a SQL database. And there will be constraints. Constraints means if you have a table in an Excel sheet, I can enter any data in any column, correct? Supposing I have here a customer name ID, I have say order date. I'll give a heading order date, but here supposing I enter it as some text, some name only I will enter. Still it will allow, it will not give any restriction. But in a SQL server or any database, we are going to define what will be stored in each of the columns. If this is defined as a date column, you are allowed to enter only a dates. If it is a number column, like a sale quantity is there, it will allow you to enter only quantity. Even by mistake, you will not be entering wrong data. So finally, the reports also will be more accurate when it is a properly stored tables. Unlike an Excel, it has a very good flexibility. You can store anything anywhere. But that is going to give some problems when you are reporting. It may, with the wrong data, you may not be able to give the right report also. But using a SQL databases, it will ensure that each column has the data that is meaningful and allowed. If you are entering supposing in the order table, you are entering a customer ID. First, it will ensure that it is a valid ID. There is a customer with that ID, then only it will be allowed to be stored here. So date means it will enter only allow a valid date. You can also set a rule saying that my transaction date should be greater than or equal to today or equal to today only. Okay, amount is there. I can say that my transaction amount should not exceed 1 lakh. Like that, you can set up different rules. And while saving the data itself, it will ensure that only valid data is stored into the tables. That is called the data scalability and expandability and flexibility. Data scalability means you can go on increasing whatever may be the number of. Presently, you have got 10 lakh rows. Next year, you may adding more transactions. Table size might increase. There's no problem. It can store any number of rows. Okay, expandable, that you can go on extending to any number of data. In Excel, after 1 million, we have to go to a new table. Even 1 million rows also, if you want to open that file, it may take a lot of time. But in case of SQL, there is no such problem because you are not going to read the complete data at a time. By writing the SQL language, you can restrict what has to be read. I can write a TSQL queries, which will read the data, what is to be read. So let me show. Actually, once this, I'm going to share this document with you anyway. You can get all the links for downloading the server and also the client and also the example databases. Okay. This PDF will be shared with you. So once you learn the TSQL, once these tools are installed, SSMS is called the SQL Server Management Studio. You can just click on this search window to open the SQL Server Management Studio. Here, this is the place from where you connect to a server. Server could be your local computer itself, or it could be separately. And as I told, in a client, in an office organization, servers will be always separately maintained. Okay. In a server room, we talk of database servers. We are going to connect to those servers from our local system. Okay. This is called a client application because this is only a media to connect to the server wherever it is. So we need to see that the server is first running. Okay, let me start the server. Because it's my local system, I'll just keep it stopped. So when we install the server in our computer itself, we have an option to stop running because that is going to take some system resource. You are having a more than 8 GB RAM, we can install a server in our local computer itself. But better idea would be to keep it stopped. Only when we are using the server, we are going to keep the set service running. Okay. This is how we can start the server. These things, anyway, these steps will be again explained to you later. But just once a server is running, you can see this green symbol says that the server is running. We can connect to the database. In an Excel, so for example, in a folder, we are going to keep multiple Excel files, correct? In each file, there will be multiple sheets to store the data. Same way, when you connect to a server, this server, you are going to give the name of the server which you want to connect to and give your authentication. The Windows authentication means the login you have used to connect to the computer. Same is validated. So only within your Office network login only you will be able to connect to your Office server, correct? So just with your local home system, you cannot connect to a Office database. So that is called the Windows authentication based on the login we have used for connecting to the computer. That is used to verify whether you are the authorized user for a database. Okay, so I'll say Windows authentication and connect. So when you connect to a server will have multiple databases stored within the same server. Each of them is a database. Like you can say each is a folder in your system where you are storing Excel files. Here in the server, it is called a database. Each database will store related data. Supposing I have a HR task, I'm storing the data related to the employees. I might be storing in a EMP database. You can click on this plus symbol within the databases to see the different objects where data is stored. In an SQL database, we'll be talking about the tables, views, synonyms, triggers, stored procedures. Okay, these are the different objects, indexes. These are the different objects used in a SQL database. And out of all of them, table is the primary object wherein data is stored. Okay, a table, when you expand the table, you will see multiple tables. As I said, related data will be stored in each of the table. Supposing I want to see employee departments, how many departments are there? I can click on select top 1000 rows. It is going to show the different departments available in the organization. Okay, so you can see data is stored in the form of rows and columns. Just like an Excel spreadsheet, here also data is stored in the form of rows and columns. So here, for example, this column is storing the department IDs. This is storing the name of the department, and this is the location where it is stored. This is a very small table wherein we are having this much information. So each row, we horizontal line, we call it as a row. Row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, like that. And within the rows, we have these columns: department ID, department name, and location. Just like the rows and columns in Excel, here also we are having the data in the form of rows and columns. But only main difference is here, I'm going to define that this data is going to store only the numbers. This is going to store only text. So it will allow to store only that information. Like, I'll show the design of this one. This is the table created, which says that department ID is going to store an integer only, tiny int. That means a number between 0 to 255 only will be stored. D name is the name of the column, which is going to store maximum 50 characters only. Location is going to store a maximum of 50 characters only. And there is a constraint saying not null. That means I cannot store a row without an ID and a name, because they are the primary required. If I just enter the location, it doesn't make any sense. So any data that I store in this table will surely have an ID and a name. Location is allowing nulls. That means you may not have defined a location. Okay, without location also, I can have some meaningful information, but without an ID, it is not meaningful. So this is how we are going to define a table. Okay, this is one table. Similarly, another department, another table is there, employee table. Let us see the employee table also. In this employee table, we are storing the information about the different employees available in our organization. Again, this is going to have an ID, name of the person, what is the job he is doing. And you can observe here, it's only storing the department ID. You're not storing the name of the department or where it is located, because they are already available in another table. Okay, so whenever I want to know what is the department he's working on, I will write a lookup on this department ID in that department table and get the name of the department name or the location. This is how we are ensuring that an ID always represents a one particular department only. Just a minute. Okay, this is how data is stored in the database. It will be in multiple tables. One table will store only employee information. If you want to know anything additional, like a department information, we are going to look up based on this. Similarly, if you want to know about his salaries, only the total salary is stored here. Monthly salaries will be available again in another table, EMP salary table. Like this, data is always stored in multiple tables, and they are related using these key fields. Like this, you can identify each employee by an employee ID, department by a department ID. These are the standards followed to ensure that you have only meaningful data available in the database. Okay. Any questions?
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello,
tell
sir.
me.
Can we also identify the duplicates basing on the name and job or some other like salary and other things? Like if
Yes,
you have
yes.
the address and all?
Yeah. We are now seeing how to data is stored in the tables. Okay. So next our job is to read the data from the tables. Okay. Supposing these are the 19 rows, but practically we may have 1,000 employees in our organization. We need not always see the complete data. Okay. For that, to get only the data what I want, we'll be writing a code called select queries or a query language. Okay. So let us open a new query. Here I want to know what are the employees, who are the employees available in my department. In an Excel means first we open the complete file and then apply a filter. Here it's not like that. We can first write a select query as select from which sheet you want, like from which table you want. Say from employee. This is like a simple English language only. We'll say select data from table employee. Okay. What data you want, you can specify here. Like supposing I want ename, comma, job, comma, salary. Okay, from employee. This is going to return the total data of all the employees, their information. So we are able to select which column data you want. You don't need to always read all the column data. You can just select which column information, which information you want and read it. So select query is the most important for a data analysis and reporting. We need to read the data from the database. We cannot just open the database file and say, I want this much. I can just write it SQL query like this and get the data what I want. Here, this is just like opening a sheet and selecting the columns you want. Okay. Next, I want only, as you said, I want only see the employees whose salary is more than, say, 10,000. So I can write here where salary greater than, say, 10,000. So it is like applying a filter on the salary column, saying I want to see only the rows where salary is greater than 10,000. Click on execute. It is going to filter out and show only those people who are salaries greater than 10,000. Or I can say where job is equal to manager. I want to see how many managers are there in the department. I want to see only those records. So I'll use this where clause to get only those people whose designation is a manager. Okay, like this where clause is just like a filters that we apply on the Excel sheet. And supposing I don't know the exactly, but I want to know import from Excel using query. You want to import into Excel? Okay, we'll see how to write a query. Then we'll see in Excel how to import that. Or instead of Excel, we'll see it in a Power BI tool. Okay, we'll just see how to get this data into a Power BI such a way that automatically data will come there and it will get refreshed. Okay, so this we have written name, job and salary from employee, where job is equal to manager. Here the name, supposing I want to sort the data by employee name, I can write a clause order by e name. That means it is going to sort the data by employee name. I can see now alphabetically sorted. Okay, I can sort it by employee name and also comma salary. So it will first sort by employee name and then by the salary. That way also we can do. Okay, I have selected only part of the query. That's why I got error. Let us execute once again. Now we have got the data. Name sorted by employee name and also salary. Okay, like this we can use. This is select query is like reading the sheet. Where clause is to filter the data. Name of the columns we list out to select only the specified columns. And we have other clauses like when I can combine that, well, like how we do a lookup. In this department name is not available in this table. Okay, department table is available in some other table. I want to combine these two. So I can just enhance this query. Let me keep it as it is. Just I'll show you how to get data from two tables. From employee, join DEPT on employee dot DEPT ID. That means what is the lookup column? What is the common column between the two? I'll say employee table has a DEPT ID that is equal to DEPT table also has a DEPT ID. So based on this common field, I can get data from the employee table and also D name. That is the department name from the department table. Simply write a query like this. This is going to display the employee name as well as the department where he is working on. Okay, though the data is stored in two different tables, employee and department, still I'm able to combine them and show the data here. Okay, that's the benefit of the select query. We don't need to write a VLOOKUP formula for each and every row. Once we are defining that these two are common, based on this, you look up and get the information from the second table. It will automatically display. Okay. Like this, we will be learning how to write different queries, read the data. It's not only the queries. First, we need to understand how many tables are there. We'll also see how to create a table, add data into a table. Okay, modify the data. That's basically to understand how data is stored into a database. Then main concentration shall be on selecting the data from multiple tables, combining them. So we need to use different types of joins, unions, and also we may have to write a query within a query, just like how we use a function within a function in Excel. Here also we'll be using a query within a query. So all the things we'll be learning in the next coming days. But basically the purpose of using a SQL is that we can easily scale data, whatever may be the data size. We can easily combine data from multiple tables and get it. And it is a necessary because most of the databases, most of the data is stored in the database management systems only, like SQL Server or Oracle. So when you want to grow your stature, instead of just being a MIS analyst, you want to upgrade yourself and become a data analyst and data engineer. It's necessary to learn more tools. SQL is the one basic tool that's very much necessary to learn. So we are going to see what are the different types of the definitions. Like data definition language means how to create tables, how to add columns and all those things. Manipulating means inserting data, modifying the existing data, that is manipulation language. Query language is the one which is reading the data. We are not going to change anything in the original data, but we are going to read the data coming from multiple tables. Okay, data control language is again ensuring that only authorized people are able to connect to the data. So how to give permissions to a particular user to connect to a database, to a table level or a database level. That is the control language. Transaction control language is, as we discussed before, to ensure that either the data store saved in multiple tables are not stored anywhere. There will not be any midway. So either store in both the tables or do not store anywhere. That's how we can control it using the transaction control language. And further, we are going to learn about the constraints, like how to restrict that a column should have compulsory data or it's optional. How to make a column have only unique data, or how to ensure that a data is a valid. You define that a salary should be only between 10,000 to 5 lakhs. Some like certain conditions can be applied. Okay, how to apply different conditions. These are called the constraints. We'll be discussing about these constraints. And comparison between the Excel and SQL, that's what we have discussed. A sheet of Excel is equal to a table in SQL database. A range.select will say, same thing here say select star from. Filter data, we use the where clause. Okay, in the SQL here, select the specific columns. This is the select, range.select. And from is from which sheet you want to get the data. Here we give you the table name. Where clause is to filter the data. What is the condition we want to apply for filtering the data? Sort by is here called as a order by. Order by will sort the data based on the selected columns. Next, pivot table. Those things we can get, like we can get a summarized data by using the group by function. We can group the data and say that I want to see only the department wise how many people are there. Department wise, what is the salary paid? That summarization, we can do it at the server side itself using pivot group by clause. Okay, and VLOOKUPs are replaced by joins. We have seen how to join the two tables. So join is simply like lookup based on the ID of the employee table. I'm able to get the name of the department. This is something like a VLOOKUP. So these are the different ways we can migrate from Excel to SQL to be more efficient and to be more up to date. You don't need to wait for somebody to extract the data from SQL and give it to us. Instead, we are able to directly work on a SQL. Okay. So I'll show, this is a simple data we have seen for our understanding, but we are going to work on a bigger databases like this, where there are many tables. We'll see how to relate to these tables and get the data from these multiple tables. Okay. Practically, there will be like this, at least of 50 to 100 tables may be there in a database. How to understand these tables, and extract, get the data from these multiple tables. That's what we're going to see. Okay. Now, like somebody was asking, I want to see how to get this data into an Excel. So this is where comes the tool called Power Query and Power Pivot in Excel. So anybody having questions on this SQL concepts?
Sir, all these tables we can create itself here, sir.
Yeah. Yes, we can create. We'll see how to create tables and also store data into the tables.
Okay, sir.
So, but more than creating the tables, our job would be important to read data from the tables, because database design is again a big subject. It is done by a DBS, database administrators, or the application developers. Okay. As a data analyst, creating tables would not be generally our requirement, but still we are going to learn how to create a table, how to apply constraints, and how to store data into the tables. Okay. This database also will be given to you as sample database, which you can install it. We'll see how to get database from one server and install it in another server, how to take a backup, how to restore the databases.
Hi Vinod, this is
Yeah.
Rahul.
Yeah. Tell me, sir.
I just have one question. So in this, what is the level we are going to learn? So is it something like a data manipulation and data retrieving and or data development, something like that?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
So
Basically, when you work with an SQL server, one thing is database administration. That is creating new objects, taking a backup, restore, and all the administrative work related to the databases. And next, creating a database, manipulating data, that is done by the application developers. Okay. And next, third role is creating the reports on the database, analyzing the data and creating different reports. That requires reading the data, that is a select queries. So we are going to have a basic knowledge of DBA, like how to back up a database and restore a database. That much we'll be learning. When it comes to manipulation, we'll be seeing how to create different tables, add columns to the existing table, modify the column values, or inserting new data. That also we'll be seeing only briefly overview of what is inserting data, what is updating data, what is deleting data, like that we'll see. Our main concentration shall be on reading the data from multiple tables. Okay, using queries or converting that queries into views. So our main concentration will be as a data analyst or a MIS analyst, how I can utilize the data server given to me, access given to me. That will be the main concentration. But still we'll be learning actually how data will be created. So at the end of the course, you will be well versed with the database, how to read the database, understand the database. But you cannot become a DBA expert, surely. Okay.
right, got it. Thank you, Vinod.
Yeah, thank you. So once we understand this data, I'll show another query on a AdventureWorks DW. So to create a database on this, select this, write a new query. So here I can say select from, say, fact internet sales. This is one commonly used table. Can give a short name for this one so that I can read the data from this f dot order date and product key and f dot quantity Okay, supposing this is the information I require from the table. I can see When I click on F dot, I'm seeing so many columns available in this table. I do not require all this data. What I require only is this much information. Okay, so I can write a query like this, seeing this information. So when I click on this, execute, I'll be seeing the data, whatever is there. There are around 60,398 rows. Here, instead of ID, supposing I want to see the name of the product, I'll be joining the table, join dim product, which is the table name to get the product information. Again, how to understand the table names that we'll be discussing on this fact internet sales. In that, there is a product key. Okay. This key has an equivalent column in the product table also. So pre.product key. So instead of repeating the total name dim product, I am using a short names. Okay. Supposing this is a query that is getting the data combining these two tables. So we are getting the product name, quantity sold, and also the sale amount. I want to put this data into an Excel sheet. Okay. So first, only once we will write this query, we'll copy this query. Okay. Control C. Now let us open one new Excel file. Save file, new. We'll take a blank file. In this Excel, in Excel 2013 and later, we have this option called Power Query that's used to get data from any database into the Excel. So here we can click on Get Data from a database, from a SQL Server database. So we should have permissions to connect to the server. So it will ask you what is the server name. Okay, and you can either give a database name because it is a query, we'll give the database name. So works DW2017 is the database name. And when you expand this, you have an option to write this query. Whatever query we have written in the server, we are going to paste it here and say, okay. So it is going to read the data available in this.
Hi, Vinod.
Yeah.
Yeah, this Power Query is available for new Excel or new version or
Excel
old version?
2013 and later. In 13, actually, we
13,
have to take it
only
as an
13.
add-in. In 16 and 19, Office 365, it is already available.
Okay.
What is the version you are using?
I think 10, 2010.
10. Okay. 10 also, I think there is
Yeah.
an option to include this feature as an add-in, but preferably if it is a higher version, it is inbuilt, readily available. So here we'll say load.
But I am unable to combine the data. I have 4 Excels. I am unable to combine the data in one Excel master sheet.
You have the Power
In
Query,
10.
then you can do it.
No, I don't have. That's why I asked
Yes,
you.
yes. It should be 2013 or later version. Even 13 also, it is not going to directly show up. Okay. So it has to be added, enabled. We are having a 16 or 19, it is going to be directly displayed. So I'll select here and say in the existing sheet in A1, I want to load the data. Click on OK. So the total data it will read from the server and display it here. So 60,399 same data has come. And also whenever you click on refresh data, it is going to automatically pick up the data from the database and show it here. Supposing new data has comes up every day, that can be automatically loaded by just clicking on refresh. Every time we need not do repeat the steps. Okay. So you try to get 2016 by upgrading or at least downloading the trial version for testing. This feature is inbuilt, get data. In 2013, you may find this as a separate tab called Power Query. Within that Power Query, you will find these options. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So this is how we can use a SQL Server, right, to learn. By learning how to write queries, we'll be able to directly get the data into the Excel. So this is anyway, most of the companies, this is done through some other people, some through other software or by another IT people. So by learning this SQL, we can do it ourselves. And further, we have seen this Power Query. Advantage is that now I have this as a table. Okay. On this table, supposing I create a pivot table, insert a pivot table, wherein using this here, it's saying query 1. That means it is going to take the complete data from this sheet. And in the new window, new worksheet, I want to create a pivot table. Say here, by supposing based on the product name, I'm going to summarize the order quantity and also order amount. Okay. So on the basis of this pivot table, I can create a pivot chart. So presenting this data in a graphical way, I can create one chart. I can apply filters on this. So what we call it, that is called a slicer. In Excel, we call it as a slicer. So supposing on the product name, I apply a slicer. Okay. So move this to a side. So the moment I select any of the products, I can see the sales of only those products in the tabular form as well as the chart. So this is as simple as this to create a simple report on this. Okay. You might have be already doing a report based on the Excel data, but here main advantage is when I once click on refresh all, it is going to refresh the database. That means get the latest data from the SQL server into the Excel. And based on that, it is going to refresh these views also. You will get a latest report available here. So day-to-day work, what you have been doing regularly, getting data from Excel, again, refreshing this and sending a report, it can be just made automated without writing any code also. Once you write the query and load the data. So this report can be given to your manager. Okay, or supposing you are a manager, your team has built this report and given you. So they don't need to do daily any job on this. Simply you refresh it, you get the latest data loaded and you get the latest report. Okay, that's as simple as this. This is when you are viewing the report on an Excel sheet. But supposing I have a Power BI, it is even a more advanced version wherein you can automate this. You can have this report loaded to a cloud server wherein automatically the reports are available for all the people who are having the Power BI license. Okay. So to this part, is it clear or you have any questions on this? Getting data from external databases into a Excel?
Yeah, understood. Can we do
Clear, sir.
SQL? Can we do pre-processing steps in SQL?
Yes, in the right SQL query, you can write whatever. Yeah, even processing can be done like suppose.
Whatever we do in Python,
Yes.
as it is, as we can do same thing in SQL, right?
What you are doing in Python?
Python means I'm asking about pre-processing steps and algorithms.
Yes, it can be done in this itself. So I'll show the same example in a Power BI. Okay.
Okay.
What are the steps that can be done? We'll see this in the Power BI. So Power BI is a cloud-based application, just similar to Excel, but only difference is that there you have the cloud-based application. It's a separate tool which you need to install in your local systems as a Power BI desktop application. Once that is installed, just like an Excel, this is the freeware, like installing in your local system, it is a free. You can install it. Once it is installed, you will be getting a desktop shortcut like this. So like how I opened Excel file, now I'm going to open a Power BI file. So this also will have a get data option. So here there is no problem of version. It's only one version, latest version. You have this Power BI desktop freely downloadable. You can just download it.
So
Once
this
you
is also
download-
from Microsoft only.
Yeah, this is also Microsoft product.
Okay, we can download free version, like home version. Can we download free versions?
Power BI can be downloaded freely. Yes.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, any questions? So Power BI is a freely
sir,
downloadable application. Tell me, sir.
Sir, that Excel file that you created from the database,
Yeah.
can that be saved as a separate file and disconnected from the database?
Yes,
you
it
want to
can be
send-
done.
If you want to send it to somebody,
Yes, you can send it. Only thing they can't refresh the data.
Yes,
That's all.
yes.
That is the only issue, but otherwise it will work independently. Connection is not required unless you want to refresh it.
Right.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
If the data file is coming from SAP,
Yes.
can we again load into the SQL?
Load this data into SQL.
From SAP.
From SAP, you can load the data into an Excel or a Power BI. Yes.
Because as you show in SQL, it is easy to sort out the data basing on
Yes,
name
yes.
and the ID and all. So to filter that and to sort out the data, can we load from SAP to the SQL, or we need to again import to the Excel and filter and do the tuning?
That you should have permissions on the SAP database. Okay, then you can write a SQL query on the SAP database also.
Okay.
So usually SAP, they don't allow you to directly connect to the database. What I understand, I have very limited knowledge on SAP, but to my understanding, you have some utilities to export data from SAP to external Excel. Okay, I think they don't
Okay.
give it directly to SQL server, but usually that export is to a CSV file or an Excel file. So you write that commands in that extract queries, and based on that, it is going to extract the data from SAP to the Excel. So if you have credentials to connect directly to the SAP database, then you can write the queries like this, how we are written here. Your SAP could be on a Oracle database. So you can write these queries on a Oracle also.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Oracle also has a PL/SQL developer as a utility, client utility. With that, you can write queries on a SAP database.
But
we know
if I have the data already export from SAP to Excel, can we load again to the SQL? Because I see it is very easy to sort the data, like, if the file is very large and
Yeah.
if you want to identify the duplicates or
Yes, we
some
can
other
insert
specific
data from a Excel into a SQL database. We can create our own
Okay, sir.
database
Okay.
with these columns.
Okay.
We can easily load it. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
So we'll see an example how to use the Power BI to load this data based on a SQL query. So select this, click on get data. Okay. Here, either we can write from a SQL query or from a SQL table also. So supposing I'll show first an SQL example, SQL server. Just how we have done in Excel. Same way we can select the SQL server, connect, give a server name, give the database name, the query we are pasting it here and say OK. So supposing you want to do before loading, you want to do some calculations here. You can click on transform data. Okay, wherein you can define certain steps, like you can add some custom formula columns. So supposing here I want to see sales amount is there, order quantity is there. I want to see whether the sale amount is greater than 1,000 or less than 1,000. So I can conditionally write a column. Say add a column. say if order sale amount is greater than or equal to say 3,000, then we'll say high, otherwise we'll say low. So some logical formula I'm putting it here, say okay. So it's going to add a column, okay? High and lows we are seeing in this. So this can be used in our reports to classify how many high value transactions happened and how many low value happened. And also this part, what we have done, this is stored within the Power BI file. So next time when you refresh the data, it is going to automatically refresh the formula for all the rows. So we don't need to redo it every time. Okay, like this, we can add any more columns. Supposing I want to split this column into separately 2 parts or 3 parts. Okay, last two digits, supposing I want to split this from here. I can select this, say transform data, split this column by number of characters. Last 2 characters, I want to put it in a separate one. Say okay. So now it is just removing the last 2 characters and putting in a separate column. Okay. Like this, we can do any transformations, any formula writing what we do in Excel. Similarly, we can do it here also. And then we'll say, after doing this, we'll say close and apply. That means this data will be extracted from the database based on our conditions. And that will be loaded into this Power BI tool. Again, here, unlike Excel, it doesn't take time to load the data. It will be much faster because it is stored in the compressed form within this Power BI. Okay, say close it. Maybe some errors, we have to validate why there are some errors in that. But basically data is loaded into the Power BI and it can be viewed here. This is the data loaded from the database into the Power BI. Okay, this data can be used different views. This is the data view where we see the data loaded. We have a reporting view when we click on the left top corner. This is where we are going to add the visuals. In Excel, we are going to put everything on a sheets, but here we have a separate interface for placing the visuals. These are the different types of visuals available, like a column chart, bar chart, pie chart, line chart, area chart, funnel, waterfall chart. A table component also is there, just like a pivot table. We have a matrix view. We can import an R programming script or a Python script. That output can be imported into this Power BI, so we can create a visual here. There are advanced visuals like gauges. Like in a gauge view, I can show what are the sales. Okay, it will show like this, the sales. Against a target, we can show how much we have achieved and how much is pending. Okay, or we can, creating a visual is very simple. Just double click on the screen. Here, just we can add simple language. Say I want a sales amount by product. So it is going to show for each product what are the sales. It is automatically going to create a chart. Okay, with the minimum effort, you'll be able to create different charts. So once a database is loaded and formatted properly, we can easily create the reports on this one. Okay. And these reports, they are basically stored on a cloud server. By clicking on the publish button, we are going to store, display this, put these reports in a Azure cloud server. That means it is going to, Microsoft is going to take care of saving these reports in a cloud server. Once it is saved, I can directly connect to that my server. Say app.Power BI. This is a browser-based application. So wherein you can directly connect from any of the browsers. For this, you need to have a credential. Okay, you need to have a username, password. This is anyway free only. You need to just register in the Power BI. It's a freeware. You can just connect it and you will be able to see the different reports that you have created on a browser. So this is not limited to this particular computer. With my username and password, I can view the reports anywhere. So these are the reports created earlier. I can easily see the reports from anywhere, any system. Click on this. Select any corporate, immediately it will automatically change. This is like a slicer. By selecting the slicer, you have the data refreshed from all the visuals in this page. Okay, like this, we can have multiple reports created. And these reports are available for view by everyone. My workspace means this is the working area wherein we can create different types of reports like this. Okay, it could be human resource report or a demo report is there. This is the database. Can see this includes reports, database, what is required for the report, and also a dashboard. All are stored within the Power BI service. So you can click on a dashboard. Dashboard is basically a summary of all the charts, main important charts. Okay, this can be a line chart, or you can give a text heading with a hyperlinks, or it could be a column chart. You can just see on the details that can be created on a Power BI. Click on this. It will take you to a detailed report from where this particular chart has come. Okay. Let us see a human resource report. This is basically a sample report which analyzes the data of how many hires happened in by month. What was the stand last year compared to last year? How are the hiring this year? And within the hiring, how many are retained and how many left? Within how much period the employees are leaving? All this analysis related to the new hires and also the how many left, within how much time they left, that analysis. And bad hires means those who left at a very short time. You can see that by the recruiter name, like which recruiter is having low performance, like more people are leaving, and which recruiter is able to recruit good people. That analysis is done here. So this is how we can create a report. And a good thing about this Power BI is once you install it, publish it to a server, daily it is automatically set up for refresh. You don't need to manually refresh it. This report might be coming from a SQL server or a SAP database or Oracle or Excel file also. Anywhere it can come, but you don't need to manually refresh that. It will be automatically refreshed. Okay. And once a database is loaded, so supposing on this data, I want to see what are the possible charts that can be created. So I don't need to explicitly do it myself. I can select a data set and say, get quick insights. Let's do it on this sales report. Get quick insights. When you say system by its own machine intelligence, it is going to create different charts. Okay. So we can just view the charts and see whichever is meaningful and useful for us. We can just import and use it in our report. So just within a click, within a few seconds, it has created so many charts based upon our data. And each chart also comes with an explanation. What is the conclusion of this chart? Here it says consumer accounts for the majority of the quality for the state Texas. So based on this data, this is the conclusion. Same way for multiple charts have been created within no time. So from this, you can pick up whichever is meaningful and useful for your discussions. You can select it and add it to your dashboard report by clicking on this pin visual. Or supposing you want to show it in a full screen also, you can click on this. It will show in a bigger view. What is the data? Like which products are giving profit, which are giving loss. We can analyze it here clearly. Okay. So this is how reports are used in Power BI. It's a very much great enhancement compared to Excel because this is a in-memory application. That means whenever I'm opening a Power BI report, all the data related to that is available in our RAM. So the moment I click on something, like for example, here I create a filter slicer on say order date. Okay. The moment I slide this, immediately the report refreshes and shows based on the selected data. Okay. This is called a in-memory application. That means that every data is already available in our system memory. So the moment we change it, it automatically creates. Clear? Any questions? So we have seen a report created on a SQL database, but supposing you have
Sir.
only data already available in Excel.
Yeah, sir, I have a question.
Yeah, tell me.
So we are publishing onto the web and it will automatically refresh every day. So
Yes.
can we send automated emails also?
Yes. When you share the report to anybody, you can activate notifications saying that whenever data changes, they will get a mail showing a screenshot of the report.
Okay. And the schedule.
But they should have the Power BI license.
Oh, okay.
The end user also should have a Power BI license. So report file need not go to him directly. Just a link will go. Click on a link and they view the report on their browser.
Okay. Yeah. Or can we send a screenshot of?
Yeah, you can export this to PDF.
Yeah, like that.
And send the PDF. Or a PowerPoint presentation can be directly create a PowerPoint presentation from this. Just select the file and export. It has an options. Export to a PDF.
Yeah, this will
Similarly,
be
from a service, if you are doing it from a browser, you can even create a PowerPoint presentation also. For supposing this report is there, I can click on file, print this page, take a directly print out, or edit. Okay, I think this is a dashboard. Let's go to a report.
Okay.
This report can be exported to PowerPoint or a PDF or analyze in Excel also. Analyze in Excel means it is going to send only the model. Only data will be sent to the Excel. There you can create your own charts.
Okay.
Okay. Now we have seen how to create a report from SQL Server, but it's not limited to SQL. Even from an Excel file also, we can easily create a report here. So let us say I want to create a new file, new report based on Excel data. Okay. I'll select a new Power BI. Get data from Excel. The advantage is your Excel data may be existing in multiple sheets. I want to combine all the sheets and put it in a single report. So without writing VLOOKUP formulas, we can create a report here in Power BI, getting data from multiple sheets or multiple files. In fact, need not be sheets of the same file. We can even pick up data from multiple workbooks also. Even from MS Access database or any of them. Let us first simply select Excel, connect. Like for example, here I have a superstores.xlsx, wherein data is available in multiple sheets, customer information in one sheet, product information in one sheet, and transactions in other sheets. Click on the sheet name. It shows what is the data available in this particular sheet. Similarly, in the products, it has information about the product name, what is the category, subcategory, and other things. Orders has the full information. Customers has the information about the customers, their address, city, country, everything. So I'll select whichever tables I want to load into the present report and say transform data. In the transformation, as you said, we can write different formulas. We can restrict what data to be loaded. Our database might have, like earlier we have seen 60,000 rows are there. All of that data may not be required for reporting. I want only the current year or only the previous year data. So I can filter out. Here I can say my order date should be need not include nulls. Without a date, I'll not have any orders. Okay. Similarly, I can say between or after. Say I will say my data, I want to load only those that are after a particular date, say 31/12/2017. Okay, only 18 and later data only I want to load. I can click on this. So it is going to restrict only that much data will be loaded, because the old data may be there in server, but I don't require for the report. Similarly, I can say this column I don't require in the reports, just remove this column. So this is how we can minimize the data that is to be loaded into the report and used in our reports. This is about the transactions. In the products, I'm seeing the column headers as a row. So I can use this step to convert the first row as the column header. People information is there here about the targets and things, and customer information is there. Again here, supposing null rows are there without a customer ID, it's not a valid row, so I can restrict it. Columns also, if I don't require certain information, I can remove the columns, filter the data, add some new columns here. So this is all we call is the clean up the data or transform the data. Okay. In any ETL tool, we are going to do the transformations. Same way here also we can do. And now close and apply. So once the data is loaded, it is going to try to understand and create some relationships between the tables based on the column name and the data. That is useful for just like a lookup. When you have data in multiple sheets, we need to have some relation between them. Otherwise, it can't look up. Here it is saying that this product ID is same as the product ID in the transaction table. Similarly, customer ID is same as the customer ID in the customer table. Using these lookup values, it can combine the data from these multiple sheets. And now we can create a report here in the report tab as if everything is coming from the same sheet. I can use a product name from the product table and sales from the transaction table. Together, I can create easy a report. This is showing the values as a table, as a like a pivot table. I want to convert this into a chart. Just select this, click on a chart. It's going to automatically show the data as a chart. Okay, this is very simple. You can easily connect and configure that, change the properties. Supposing x-axis is not clear, I can increase the font size so the text names are clearly visible. Okay, I can change the font style, font color. And supposing I don't want to see so many people, seeing all the products may not be meaningful. I want to see only high selling products. So I can apply a filter on the product name. Say, show me only the top 5 products based on the sale amount. Okay, put the sale amount here. Say, based on the sales amount, I want to see only the best 5 products. So it's automatically filtering and showing the best 5 products. This is how we can create the reports, getting data from multiple sources. Now, some data could be in Excel, some could be in a CSV file or some SQL server. I can combine all the data into a single report. And as we refresh them, you get the latest information on the report. Okay, so this Power BI basically has multiple components. Actually, I did not give a full introduction to Power BI. Basically, Power BI comes with different components. One is called the Power BI desktop. Another one is called the Power BI service, what we have seen in the browser. So we will have another introduction when starting the Power BI, because first I want to start with SQL, because having a good knowledge of SQL, though it is not a necessity for the Power BI, learning Power BI, in the market demand, generally people are expecting Power BI users to have some knowledge on SQL. So it's not actually a necessary, because in big organizations, they will have SQL experts and they are going to create SQL part. But to get a job, maybe it is beneficial to learn SQL also. So it's better. First 2 weeks, we are going to conduct a session on SQL. Those who are interested can join that. After 2 weeks, we are going to start the Power BI. Again, if you want to join directly Power BI also, it can be understood and clearly worked on. But if you want to have that mileage of learning SQL also to get better opportunities, you can learn SQL. Okay. So these are the slides we have already seen. Saying showing the data in the numbers is like this and showing it in a chart. Can just the moment you see, you can easily make out. Okay, that's the reason. So recommended to present the data in as a visuals. So there's a very good opportunity for data analysts. And so we recommend learning Power BI and become a good data analyst. If you're working on Excel, it's good, but you can grow your career much further by learning these tools. Okay. If you don't know even Excel, still you can learn Power BI. That is also possible. But again, depends upon how you get the entry into the market, into the job. There, if you want to become a good professional, better learn from Excel, SQL Server, and then Power BI. But if you have some already experience doing the analysis, directly you can learn Power BI also. It was developed basically based on Power Query and Power Pivot of Excel. This tool has been developed by Microsoft as a separate tool. It's an in-memory application using a cloud technology. That means whatever reports we develop, they are saved within a cloud server so that they are available for view from anywhere. The basic components of Power BI are, first we need to have a data source. That is from where I have to get the data to present it in the reports. Next, we need to have a Power BI desktop that is for developing the reports. Once the reports are developed, we are going to save it to a server. In the server, a Power BI service means it is a browser-based application, a web application. Like you can just connect to your service and see the reports, whatever you have done. So these reports can be viewed from anywhere. Just you have an internet connection, that's good enough. Whether it's in a mobile or an iPad or any pad or a desktop or a laptop, you can view the reports. Whatever reports we develop, they are automatically configured for mobile as well as the tabs also. Based on the instrument where you are opening, it is going to rearrange the visuals and display them appropriately. Okay, any questions on Power BI?
Yeah, Vinod, I have one question.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, present I am working as a Tableau desktop.
Okay.
Okay. As compared to Power BI, Tableau, is there any advance in Power BI compared to
Power
Tableau?
BI main advantage is that it is much cheaper for implementation. Licensing fees, they are much lesser.
Okay.
So it costs nearly less than half of what you have to spend on a Tableau. That is the reason many companies are shifting to Power BI.
Power, okay.
And even small and medium companies also, they have to establish Tableau means it's a big costly affair, maintaining the server and other things. But there's no server maintenance. You have to do only the Power BI desktop. That also, as I told, it is going to be a freeware initially for developing and testing out, building the proof of concepts. You don't need to spend anything. So only subscription is involved where you want to share the report with other people and they have to view it on a browser. There you have to pay the subscription. That is also much lesser compared to the Tableau. Okay. And Tableau, the main advantage is, just 1 minute, a Tableau main advantage is it is already established for more than 10 years. I think 15 years. So they are, it's more robust compared to Power BI. Very big installations. That is going to be more efficient than Power BI. Power BI, it works on medium scale companies. Like say, supposing 10 GB, 20 GB data is there, Power BI is good. But for Tableau, it can work even much beyond that, even 50 GB, 100 GB also. Otherwise, Power BI has most of the features, everything that can be done in a Tableau.
Okay. Yeah, coming to visualization part,
yeah,
Tableau is better than Power BI or?
Yeah, because it is there since a long time. I think it has some more options available. But what I heard is that most of the features that are in Tableau, they can be implemented in Power BI also. And Power BI has one advantage is there are many custom visuals coming up, developed by third parties. Microsoft is certifying them and allowing to be used within the Power BI. So it's not limited to the visuals given by Power BI. Even many more visuals, they can be simply imported. By click on this, you can import any visual from the open market, like market space of the Microsoft Market Store. Anybody can develop his own visual for Power BI and get it certified by the Microsoft. Then it can be directly embedded within the Power BI.
And one more point, is there in Power BI, we can give the URL link for any report or any visualization?
Yes, embedding the reports within your web applications. That's what you're saying, no? Yes, it can be done.
We can add the any images from Google.
Yeah, images can be added, hyperlinks can be added.
Okay.
If you want to embed this report in your web application, it can be done. Like export. There is some option available, like sharing, embed report in a SharePoint online or on a portal. It is going to generate a URL link or even the HTML with the tags, iframe tag. This you can copy and put it in your web application so that this report is directly visible in your website itself. Like again, some permissions will be required, like who can view the report like that. Once that is there, it can be done. Okay, any other questions?
So this class from tomorrow, is it from 2 o'clock to 5 or 3 to 5 if you want to continue?
Yeah, it will be 3 hours per day.
So
probably
from
2 to 5.
2 to 5, okay.
Yeah.
Is there any weekend classes?
Yeah, this is for weekends only, no?
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday.
Timings, what is the timing? Same timings or any other?
2 to 5.
2 to 5.
2 weeks for the SQL, okay?
Yeah.
And another 4 weeks for the Power BI.
Total 6 weeks, right? You said?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Can you please share the details, no? For this?
Yeah, we'll send you. You already given the mail ID, no? We'll be sending you the contents and also this PDF what we have discussed for SQL, that also will be shared. You can download the SQL server, also install it in your systems. And anyway, I am going to guide it. This is going to be more of an interactive session wherein while we are discussing, you can start working on. So just if you listen for 2-3 hours, you may not be able to recall and implement it. So in the middle, some examples at least we will try to work on in the session itself. So you'll have a clarity, because all these options while doing it, it looks very simple while seeing, but when you start doing, you'll get doubts. So some of the examples, I'm going to give you the material, how to do these steps. The queries also, SQL queries, whatever we discuss, that queries will be shared with you. So you can practice it. And also there will be, every session will be recorded. So you can have the recording. Okay.
Okay. Sir, one question.
Yes. Sir. Tell me.
Sir, actually, when I have visited the institute, the supposed time was 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock is what they said. And now we are saying around 2 to 5. So is it a difference of offline and online, or both the classes held at 2 to 5?
Offline and online, it is going to be live only.
Okay.
So timings part.
So the class would.
You can talk to the admin, like based upon the participants, we are going to adjust the timings.
Okay. No, because last time when I visited, I think you remember me. I had a talk with you around evening time, and the one who was in admin part, they were telling that the proposed time for the 4-week course, which is a combination of SQL and would be morning 9 o'clock to afternoon 1 o'clock or 10 to 1, something like that. That on weekends. So that is what I was confused.
Okay, we'll confirm you. So like timings based on the most of the preferences, we can plan it morning or evening, doesn't matter.
Okay, okay, sir, not a problem.
But it will
Yes.
be on
You will be
weekends
sharing
only.
all the details.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, weekends. That is fine, sir. Weekends is done. That information we got.
Yeah.
But timings part is not still yet decided, I think. Okay, fine, not an issue.
Yeah.
Just mail me, then we will attend the training accordingly.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Sir, one question, sir. I think initially you said, one of the challenges I have is I'm starting with SQL,
Yes.
database design.
Yeah.
So if you have a large, let's say an Excel file, you want to create tables in SQL.
Yeah.
How do you decide? I know there's like rules that you have to follow, like first
Yeah.
normal forms to remove all the redundancy. So can you cover a little bit of that so we know how to create, like what tables to create,
Yes, sir.
based on the data that is available, because that would be the first step, right, in SQL.
Yes, sure. We are going to see how to create a new database, add
Right.
tables to that, and what
Right.
are the columns to be added, what data types we can add the columns. And if you have a sample data, you can make some like dummy data is available. We can even work on that, how to convert that Excel data into the tables.
Right. Because there can be, 10 different ways that different people can create, right?
Yes.
One person may create 5 tables.
Yeah.
One person may create 7 tables. So how do we decide like what is the correct number?
Basically, a table means the first primary column is there. Every column should be depending on that only. In a department table, like I said, employee table is there. Okay, in a employee table, you cannot store the employee monthly salary. Okay, for the monthly salary, it has to be a separate table only. So basically a table is designed in such a way that every column is depending on the key field. It should be related. I can say, who is the boss of this employee ID I should get? What is his date of joining? So every column is depending on the primary key. That's how it is designed.
Okay.
So generally, anybody creates, it will be same number. If you are going to combine 2 tables into a single, then there will be duplication.
Right.
And also there are 2 types of databases. One is for the transactions. One is for reporting. Reporting database is mostly updated based on a transaction database. So here redundancy is acceptable. Here getting more data output fastly, that will be the criteria.
Right.
When it comes to transaction database, saving the data, that would be the important.
Right.
So based on that, databases will be designed. So basically we have started with SQL, it took more time on that, I think. So Power BI, we are going to have again a basic introduction. While starting itself, we'll again start from scratch, how to just create a report based on the database and what are the transformations to be done. Everything we'll be discussing in detail. So you can contact our institute on this number if you want any details more about this course, contents, and also the schedule and other details. You can contact this number. Okay, that's all from my side. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll stop it here.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, madam, I think recording is done there only, no? హలో
హలో సార్, నేను ప్రసాద్.
మీరు రికార్డింగ్ అక్కడే చేశారు కదా?
సార్ ఇక్కడే చేసాం, బట్ ఇది ఇక్కడే రికార్డ్ అవుతుందా?
అక్కడ ఎండ్ అయినప్పుడు అక్కడే రికార్డ్ అయిపోతుంది అక్కడ లోకల్ సిస్టంలోనే.
సార్ వాయిస్ రికార్డ్ అవుతుందా సార్?
అవుతుందండి.
ఓకే సార్, ఎక్కడ ఎండ్ ఆప్షన్?
నేను ఎండ్ కొట్టేయమంటారా? నేను ఎండ్ కొట్టేస్తాను, మీకు లోకల్ సేవ్ అవుతుంది.
ఓకే సార్, కొట్టేసాను.
ఓకే సార్.
ఓకే సార్.